Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about bow trappers. Yeah, these are fantastic knives. You don't see a whole lot of them, and they kind of look like a bow that you shoot an arrow out of an archery bow. And we're going to be talking about these today. I got a few we're going to look at. We're going to talk about the advantages, the disadvantages, and, a little bit about where these guys came from. How did we end up with this bow trapper? So if that's something that might pique your interest, go ahead and check out the video.
You sent me a smoochy picture.
Mm-hmm. Why are you laughing at me?
Because he's so funny looking.
All right, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Hi to all my viewers. Bonjour, Privet, Guten Tag, Hola, Ciao, and Konnichiwa, and good day to my foreign viewers. And today we're going to be looking at these bow trappers. And why don't we start out with just kind of defining what a bow trapper is. So, bow trapper has this heavy curve to it. It's a convex curve, meaning it points out, not in. And so these are technically thought of as a regular curved jack, and that differs from this style, which is a curved jack. So curved jacks are curved in a concave way. We call them swaybacks. That's a curved jack. This is a regular curved jack, is how they distinguish the two different curves on these knives. Most of these are 4 inches or better. I've never seen one that's a little tiny one. And this is really a super pattern. So there's nothing that fills your hand better than these bow trappers. They just do it. And the primary advantage is this is the natural. Let me see. You can see right there. That is the natural form of your wrist right here, how it forms a straight. And when your hand is natural, these bow trappers, they present a horizontal blade, and so you're holding this and the blade just comes straight out. So kind of, let's see, I'm going to show you another example here. So if I'm holding my wrist in a natural fashion, you can see this blade sticks up. And to use these blades, we have to kink our wrist down like this to get the same. Look how much a kink is on my wrist there. And on the, where'd it go? And on the bow trapper, you don't have that big kink in your wrist. It's just very natural to get a horizontal attitude in it. And so that was very popular with Bowie knives. A lot of Bowie knives used stag, and it has that natural bow curve in it. And very popular because of the presentation of the blade when you used it. So that's a primary advantage of these. And well, heck, let me use this again. Another advantage is, of course, when you're have to put the point down to cut, you get a very let me see if I can get, yeah, that's a little better. You get a very little of your blade actually is hitting the surface because of the angle of the blade. But on the bow trapper, let's do my, you see that's a lot. Come on, snap in. It's a lot more. It's about double the amount of blade when you present down. And again, it just forms a natural cut in it. You could see, let's see here. Oh, man. It's just a lot more blade. You can see right there. Vice. That blade right there. It's about double. So those are the primary advantages of these bow trappers. One reason I don't think they're as popular is as other patterns of knives is the bow, and so it does present a problem putting it into a sheath. It's a little bit more difficult. In your pocket, though, it's no more difficult. So this fits the natural line of your pocket, but it takes up more real estate. And most of these, you'll notice have, let me just measure that across the center here. Yeah, almost an inch and a quarter real estate that it's taken up. And it does take up a little more real estate in your pocket. That's a disadvantage of them. So the family that these knives populate is the regular curved jacks. And a lot of knives fall under the broader category of curved jacks. And so this is a curved jack, and these would be curved jacks. But these are swaybacks. It's a different category. But also, if you look at some of your hunting knives, clasp knives, they also have curved jacks. Now, on a lot of hunting knives, they're more or less square across here, and then they curve up. But this one has a little bit more of a curve. And often these are considered clasp knives, which is a larger, probably the main category of hunting knives, clasp knives. And so this would fall into that large clasp knife category. And then the regular curved jack is a more narrow kind of description of it. Like a glass is a large category for all glasses, and a tea glass is a specific category, and we're always categorizing like that. This is another one that is a curved jack. You can see it's almost a continuous curve on this one. It's just not as acute as the curve on the bow trapper. However, this was called a bow trapper too. Now, it's something that people, users, collectors, started calling these bow trappers. Really big knives. I think they're 5.5 inches. It took me a long time to get a hold of one of these. Yeah, it's 5 inches. It's a big knife, but not the same thing as these at all. And it's just one of those things, you know, people started calling these bow trappers because they bent like a bow, like the archery. And these are just more acute bow trappers right here. Probably the maximum curve. So there's one of these we haven't looked at yet. This is my Rosecraft French Broad Creek. And not only do I love the bow on this knife, but I also love that Persian blade. And so you get that blade that just curves up. And the symmetry on this thing is just incredible. You know, Andy Armstrong is just a really good knife designer. Very beautiful. Look at that. Very beautiful symmetry on this knife. Just a gorgeous knife. So, yeah, let's spend a little bit of time talking about where did these things come from? By the way, do you guys have any of these? Any of you have a bow trapper? Should have one in your collection. They're really cool knives. So, my impression is that these are old. When I started researching this, I came to the conclusion that you can't find a really good example of these showing up in catalogs. I looked at a lot of different catalogs. You just don't see this design in the catalog. It would tend to make you believe that this is a pattern that's post 1940. But that's not really the case. You can see up there a picture of some knives from the 1920s that have this curve. And then there's some pictures of the pattern being used in custom knife manufacture. And it's a very popular design with custom knife manufacturers. So probably the oldest look at these knives that I found was from Western Europe. You can see that picture up there. So this is a design that shows up in the 17th century. So that's 1600. And it shows up in Western India, or I'm sorry, Western Europe. And if you look at this picture, it looks like a Navaja, but kind of unclear if this pattern, crops up in the 16th century in Western Europe. The Navajas, it's kind of unclear whether the Navaja was taken from that design in Western Europe or Western Europe adopted the Navaja design. At any rate, it's one of the earliest occurrences of this bow pattern. You can see one up there. It's a Chinese knife. That's a turn of the century knife. And then this one right here is from the 1800s. And there's a couple there, the pictures of fixed blades. So this is a pattern that crosses the dimension of folding knives and fixed blades. Matter of fact, here's a knife, the Kaiser. Now this, if you look at it, is almost exactly like this bow trapper right here. Same curvature on it. Look at that. Same curvature. This is a Kaiser. Swag designed this, but here, this is a rare example where a slip joint pattern crosses over into a modern folder, and you just don't see that very often. But this is not the only example. You see this bow pattern a few different times in modern folders. So, it's a pattern that has crossed all the genres of knife collecting. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to close it and show a few more pictures of some custom knives that were produced. But as I do that, I'm going to continue to talk. And these, surprisingly, the history was surprising to me. So I thought these dated back into the early 1900s, and they go way back into the 1600s. So kind of interesting history on this knife. I don't know why this knife is not more popular, like a main pattern produced by companies. Like I said, it's probably the curve is kind of hard to make sheaths for, and it takes up more real estate in your pocket. That's probably the deal on it. This pattern is the most comfortable I've ever felt. And so the king is Mike Stewart's Coke bottle handle that he puts on almost every one of his knives. And this is better. This is a better pattern. It just feels way more comfortable. And it's because it just fits your hand perfectly. So really nice. If you don't have one of these, you should pick one up. These are inexpensive Rough Riders. And this is that one. I recolored the black because on these Rough Riders that black kind of wears off. And I just used a permanent marker on this. Took the easy way out rather than dyeing it. But it come out really good. And it looks good too. So I hope you enjoyed the video and found it informative. I really appreciate all your support. And we'll see you in the next video.